So, vocal registers. I talk about these as being like different gears, I suppose, for the voice. If you think about gears in the car, it's the same car, different gears. And so, this is how I like to describe it in the voice. It's the same voice. There are different gears or modes. So, these are different in the larynx, laryngeal, and in the acoustic space as well. So laryngeal and acoustic modes. I'll explain a little bit more about acoustics as we go along, but the larynx, just a quick note, the vocal cords in the larynx, which sit like this in your throat, in the larynx, different muscles are involved. So different vocal cord coordinations and muscles are activated in the larynx in our two main registers, which are chest voice and head voice. So I'm going to explain them a little bit more in a sec as a quick overview. But they are different muscles are being used. So you've got the thyroarytenoid muscle, which is more dominant in chest voice, and the cricothyroid muscle, which comes and takes over and is a little bit more dominant in head voice. Don't worry too much about those scientific names of muscles. You don't need to worry too much. Just know that physiologically something different is happening in the chest voice as it is in head voice. So it's no wonder that we feel a bit of a gear change as we move up from chest voice to head voice. There can be a bit of a clunk, a bit of a shift. We call this the crack, the break in the voice. It is the Italian term for it is passaggio, which means passage from chest voice to head voice. And this is the tricky part of the voice, is managing the tension between these two registers. It's what I teach most commonly in the studio. So just know that something different is happening in the larynx in chest voice as it is in head voice. Different muscles are activated. And I'm going to talk to you more about this. They resonate in different areas. So the sound waves are produced, created in the larynx here, and then those sound waves resonate somewhere in the vocal tract, okay? And so they resonate in different areas. The chest voice predominantly resonates in a different area to the head voice. They give different vocal qualities. They sound different. And you can blend those resonances together. So really quick overview. I'm going to talk you through each one. Here we go, chest voice. So this is the register that we use most often, most commonly. It is our low to mid range and resonates predominantly in the mouth. So the reason that we call this chest voice is because we feel the sympathetic vibrations in the chest. If you pop your hands on your chest and you say, whoa, 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 yeah, 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 mum, 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 you feel some sort of vibration in your chest. The voice isn't actually in the chest there, but that's where we feel the sympathetic vibrations of the sound. Actually, where it resonates more predominantly is in the mouth for chest voice. Whoa, yeah, oh yeah. And if you just play about with having a really nice connected speech-like quality in the sound, ba 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 ba, yeah, yeah, you can feel some vibrations in your mouth. So you can actually feel that. That's where it resonates more predominantly, is in the mouth. Has a speech-like quality. We speak in our chest voice. We don't speak up here in our head voice, or at least most of us don't. We speak down here in our chest voice. So again, that's another reason why it's the register that's most commonly used, because this is where we speak. We use this speaking register all of the time. It has a rich and connected timbre. So it feels solid, it feels sturdy, it feels quite strong. And so to sing here, if you can really connect to that speech-like quality, yeah, 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 you can get a really nice connected and rich timbre to the voice. You can see on my little diagram there, my little man on the screen, where that is resonating there just in the mouth. And exercises that can help you to develop this chest voice. Is a really great vowel for working the chest voice in the mouth resonator. So we got bub, 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 and mum, mum, mum. Those are two of my favorite exercises for working the chest voice. So bub, 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 mum, 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 mum. And really just feeling that sound resonating there in the mouth. So that's chest voice. So head voice then. Head voice is our mid to high range. It is those upper notes, those higher notes that we don't tend to use as we're speaking. We use our chest voice when we speak. Head voice is those higher notes that we don't tend to speak in. Head voice resonates predominantly in the nasal cavity, and we call it head voice because it has this feeling of it being sort of higher up in the face. Up here in the head sort of area. So you can see on my diagram there of the man's face, it's sort of behind the eyes, this sort of area here is kind of where we're thinking about the sound resonating. It actually predominantly resonates in the nasal cavity. Head voice has a hoot-like quality rather than that rich, connected chest quality. It has a ooh, 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 yeah, wee, woo, a more hooty sort of quality to it, and a light and more disconnected timbre. So whereas chest voice, like I said, felt anchored and strong and rich, head voice can feel lighter, bit more disconnected. Okay. Exercises that are really good for developing head voice, particularly if you have a tendency of going breathy in your head voice. So if you tend to go breathy, and you struggle to get a more connected sound up there, firstly, you can go and have a look at my breathing training, which is going to help you with that. That's one of the things that I cover. But exercises that are really good for this are goo. Now the g brings the vocal cords together. So goo, goo, goo is really good. And a wee. Wee, wee, wee. Okay. And if you want to practice those both together, chest voice and head voice, think about being at a football match, a sports game of some kind if you don't like football, and cheering on for your team, and you're going to go, yeah, yeah, woo, 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 yeah, woo, woo, woo. And those two vocal qualities, that's chest voice and head voice. And now we're on to mixed voice. This is the secret sauce, if you like. This is the thing that I work on the most. It's the most common vocal issue that I have students come to me with, this disconnected bit in the middle of the voice where they're okay in the lower notes, they're okay in their upper notes, but that bit in the middle that feels unstable, it feels shaky, it feels uncomfortable. Sometimes the voice cracks, sometimes there's no sound comes out at all, sometimes it squeaks, sometimes it flips. And so this is the part that is in between those two registers, chest voice and head voice. So remember that in chest and head voice, something different is happening in the larynx, and also the sound is predominantly resonating in a different place. So there's a shift that's going on laryngically, and also an acoustic shift. I have no idea if that was the right word, but never mind. And there's an acoustic shift as well happening. So mixed voice is our secret weapon to help to get from chest voice to head voice, to change gear smoothly, and for it to sound like one voice all the way up and down, for it to sound connected all the way up and down, for it to sound smooth. Mixed voice is our secret weapon. Developing mixed voice takes a long time, guys. It can take a long time. And you can't rush it. You can't do it without developing your chest voice, getting a really strong chest voice and getting a really nice connected head voice. And then you can work on mixed voice. But I'm going to explain it a bit more to you. So mixed voice is mid-range. If you've got chest voice down here and head voice up here, your mixed voice is the bit that bridges the gap between the two, which means it can be taken lower or higher. So you can have a more chesty mix and you can have a more heady mix. So these are just sort of terms that we use as vocal coaches to describe the sort of sounds that we're hearing: chesty mix, heady mix. light mix. You might have heard those sorts of terms. And the resonator that we use to help with this is the pharyngeal cavity. So you can see in my diagram, it's in the middle of his face. It's here in the middle. If the chest voice resonates predominantly in the mouth, oh, and the head voice, oh, up in the nasal cavity, the pharyngeal is the bit that bridges the gap between them both. And the pharynx is the wall, basically, at the back of your mouth. And the pharynx is actually split into 3 sections. So we've got the nasopharynx behind the nose, the nasal cavity, the oropharynx at the back of the mouth, and the laryngopharynx at the bottom of the throat here. Okay, so your pharynx is quite a big, nice, wide, soft wall at the back of your throat here. So we're trying to get the sound back here. I'm going to give you an exercise in a minute. And the pharyngeal resonance has like a twangy like quality, a very twangy quality. Okay, so I usually give, and I'll stop here and give you 2 exercises to try and find that sort of quality before we even go any further. So the first one I always give is like a child, a taunting child going, nee, 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 nee. Nee, 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 nee. Okay, a lot of people have a lot of fun with that exercise. And then another one, so feel it sort of here. Another one is a squeaky door. So copy this. It's not a very nice sound. It can help, as I just did, to scrunch up your face, to try and find it, to try and find that sound where we're pinging the sound waves up there to resonate. But the key is that there's no pushing or straining. There's no effort really from my voice. All I'm doing is using this pharyngeal resonator. So it has a twang-like quality. It doesn't sound very pretty, but it is brilliant. It's the basis for belting. It's the foundation for belting, for musical theatre belt, which is often used in contemporary songs. And quite a few contemporary worship songs use this belty quality as well. And it has a piercing and whiny sort of timbre. So it's not a nice sound. When you isolate this sound and try and just find this pharyngeal resonator, it's not a very nice sound. But we have to try and isolate it and find that resonator so that you can then draw upon it and use little bits of it. You don't have to use it to that full extent, but you can add a little bit of that resonance in order to get a nice piercing, strong sound with minimal effort in your mid to upper range, where you just wouldn't be able to get that if it wasn't for using this resonator. I hope that makes sense. So exercises to start you off with this one are a nay and a yes. So nay, 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 nay. The key is trying to keep it here. Nay, 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 and trying to keep it sounding a bit like this. And then a yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Trying to see if you can feel that sort of sound and dip in and out of it a little bit. This was a long one, mixed voice. I could do a whole training on this, but I just wanted to introduce it to you, and I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please send them my way.